Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about inheritance, the second pillar of object-oriented design. Let me explain with an example. So, let's go back to our class account. We know that an account for us is something that has a balance. Now I've given it also a constructor that allows me to initialize an account with an initial balance. And I left this default constructor commented out to remind us that once we give at least one custom constructor to a class, we don't get the default constructor for free anymore. And then we have the usual get balance, asset balance method that we have discussed in the video about encapsulation. And then I've taken the liberty to add a few more public methods. Deposit, which is simply a method that increments our balance given a given amount. And the withdraw that does the opposite, that is, takes away some money from our account. And finally, a transfer method that takes an account and the double amount as parameters, and basically what it does, it just takes away money from this account, so it does this dot withdraw amount and deposit the same amount on the target account. And while the deposit method is a void method, the withdraw method returns returns the balance after we have changed, after we have done the withdrawal. And the same for the transfer method. In the end, it returns the balance after the transfer is being done. So it returns the new balance actually. So, okay, so we have this beautiful account class, but now we have a requirement to have a new kind of account in our software application. And this new kind of account is actually a variation of what we already have. It is an account that's going to be an offshore account. Let's say, to make things a little bit more fun than usual, let's say we want to have an offshore Cayman account, which of course is gonna help us to evade of kind of taxes. So let's say we want to have this new class, Cayman account, and let's also say that we want to make it in a different package. So the destination package will be 3pillars.offshore. Let's finish with this class account. And now, if we didn't have inheritance, we would be forced to do something very ugly. That is, to duplicate a lot of code that's already in the class account. We would be forced to take everything that we want to, that identifies something as an account, and then copy all this stuff. Oh, I think I left out something. Copy all this stuff and then paste it inside the Cayman account. So now our Cayman account, of course, the constructor must have the same name of the class, and now our Cayman account is exactly equivalent to our account, but the problem is that we have duplicated a lot of code, and that it's not always boring. The worst part is that now if something changes in the way that account does deposits, or something change in the way they make a transfer, then we have to remind ourselves to change this functionality both in the account class and in the Cayman account class. So we all know that duplicating code, it's a coding horror. We should always find a way to avoid this kind of bad practice. A Cayman account is something that has another method that's called, or let's say that it also has another variable. Let's say that it has a variable private double offshore bonus, that it's equal, let's say, 10 by default, and let's say it has a method that's called apply offshore bonus. So public void void, actually let's say that it returns a double as well, public double, apply offshore bonus. And all that this method does, let's keep things very simple to illustrate fundamental concepts. All it does is say that balance balance dot equals the offshore bonus. Let's say it takes 10%, so 1 plus offshore bonus. There we go. So, and I say that all it does is multiply the balance by 1 plus offshore bonus, so it basically gives 10% increase in balance with this offshore bonus. And let's say it returns the new balance in the end. So return balance. Okay. So this is our new class, but this class actually it is not a nice thing to see. I mean, it's a really very sad. It's really it is really a very sad class with all this duplication. And inheritance is exactly what allows us to avoid this kind of ugly duplication. Because what we can do instead of this ugly stuff is just take away everything that we copied from the account class and just say that this Cayman account extends the account class. And now, let me just write it correctly. And now, just with this line, we have actually done the same things that we did before. So, what the meaning of this extend account clause is that whatever a class account has, a Cayman account inherits. So, a Cayman account now it's able to do deposit, it's able to do withdrawals, it's able to do transfer, and we can demonstrate it if you go, for example, in the main function. We can now we see we don't have constructors here, so all we have is a Cayman account. I just realized that I deleted the offshore bonus variable also, which of course I didn't want to. So let me just put it back. Private double offshore bonus. Sorry for that. Equals 10. And we see we have another error here, another compiler error, but we'll discuss this in a little while. Now the point that I wanted to make is it's actually another one, which is if we go inside, for example, our main function, we could create a Cayman account. Cayman account CIA equals new Cayman account. And the interesting thing is that now we can see that on this Cayman account, I can apply every method that's applicable to a simple account. So deposit, or I can of course withdraw. There we go. Withdraw 50. You know, all this functionality, it's not in the class Cayman account. The Cayman account gets it simply by inheriting from the account class. Let's also make a transfer. Why not? Transfer, and we transfer on the A account for an amount of, let's say, just 10. Okay. So you see, I can do with the Cayman account whatever I was able to do before, just with the account class, and this is very, very interesting. But let's go back to our mistake, because this is actually a very interesting mistake, and this is actually a case where the error message is not very useful. If you don't really know what's going on, it will take you a while to understand the problem. So let's discuss this in little detail to make sure you understand the problem. The message is not clear at all. Implicit super constructor account is undefined for default constructor. What does this mean? And actually, what's strange is that this class looks fine. I mean, there's a private variable. All that we have is a private variable and a public method. We don't even have a constructor, so what on earth is the problem? Well, the problem becomes a bit more clear if you remind ourselves that not having a constructor actually means to have the default constructor, which is given to us for free by the compiler. So actually we have this constructor which is given us for free. And the interesting thing is that now if we write it explicitly, we see that the error has moved from the class to the constructor, so it must be something related to this default constructor. Actually, the problem is that when a class extends another class, it inherits all the variables of that class, all the status of that class, it inherits the methods, but actually what it does not inherit are the constructors. And if we think about it, we surely can realize that when we create an object of class Cayman account, it does have a part that relates to the class account, and that part must be built in some way, must be constructed. So it's not probably, once we realize this, it's probably not a big surprise that every constructor in a subclass in a class that extends another class must call a constructor of the class that it inherits from. So every constructor in Cayman account must call a constructor from the account class, and it actually has to be the first thing that a constructor of the subclass is going to do. So if you don't do explicitly, the compiler will do it for us and will actually insert a line like this. Super, it means let me invoke the default constructor of our superclass. And now we see the real reason of the problem. The default constructor in account does not exist anymore because we have given it a custom constructor, so we don't get the default constructor for free. I can show you that the problem is actually this one, because if I take away the comment from the default constructor and save it, then of course the error goes away, because now the default constructor in the class account exists and so that means that I can invoke it without any kind of mistake. But let's take the constructor away again, let's save it again. And then let's go back to my Cayman account class, because let's say I don't want to have the default constructor in the class account, so that's not the fix that I really want. What I want actually is probably to have a constructor in my Cayman account class that is able to initialize this offshore bonus with a different value from different Cayman account objects. So let's take away this default value, and let's say that we pass it to the constructor, let's say double bonus, and let's say that of course I want to say something like offshore bonus sorry, and let's say something that we want to do something like offshore bonus equal bonus. Sure, this is part of my Cayman account subclass initialization, but something must be done, and it must be done correctly, to initialize the part of this class that is actually that actually belongs to its superclass, to the account superclass. So what we can do is actually invoke a constructor that exists. I think that will help. And for now, we see that we have this, the only constructor we have, this one, which takes the initial balance. So this actually makes a lot of sense, because when we create a Cayman account, we surely want to give it a bonus, but I guess we also want to give it a balance. I give it as a first parameter, so double balance. There we go. And now what we must do is to invoke the constructor in the superclass that takes a single argument, which is the balance. So this guy here, we want to invoke this guy here, and this guy, you see, it takes just one parameter, the initial balance of my account. So all I had to do is to invoke super and to pass it my balance. And there we go. That's the correct way to initialize my subclass Cayman account. We give it, first we invoke the we choose a constructor in the superclass that we want to invoke it, and we invoke it, and the compiler will understand which one we want to invoke simply by the list of the parameters, and then we're free to apply other initialization that relates only to our subclass. And now, I hope we understand the basics of inheriting a class from another one, all the benefits, and also a little tricks, and also some pitfalls that we can incur to if you don't understand exactly what's going on. And in the next video, I will talk a little bit more about inheritance, giving you some more advanced concepts. But for now, I think you have already enough material to think about. Let me just close this video by correctly initializing this Cayman account. We have seen that now the constructor wants the initial balance and a bonus. So let's give this argument to this constructor, initial balance, and say usual 110 as an initial bonus. Okay, I'll see you all in the next video when we discuss advanced inheritance concepts.